What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about a topic that we talked about yesterday. I saw a tweet this morning talking about game sales, and someone in the tweet posted an article from like a year ago, from like June of 2024, and they basically talked about exactly what I talked about yesterday. So I want to look at that and see if they have the same type of thought process that I had that I talked about yesterday. We're also going to talk about PlayStation 5 and PC cross-buy option has been discovered and verified, so we'll like to see what that's about. We're going to talk about cloud streaming officially arrives on PlayStation Portal today with a new support for digital PlayStation 5 games in your library and what that means going forward. I know Waterbear was talking about it last week when we brought it up. I said, you know, it wasn't beta, now it's officially out for everybody, so we'll talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about Battlefield 6. Producer issues a statement on the bots, so we'll talk about that as well. And then we'll also talk about Analyst Black Ops 7 sales will beat Battlefield 6, which we've also talked about in the past. So this is what we're talking about today. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We also do other shows tonight. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on 30NSG. We do a podcast called Generation X Gaming, a weekly podcast. I've been going over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. We've been doing it for 11 years. We're almost done with the 11th year, going into the 12th year at the end of this, this year. So if you guys like that, come out tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. It is live over on YouTube, where you are right now, also over on Twitch. It'll also be live on Twitter. If you guys like those platforms, watch where you want. But the main platform that we also use is YouTube. So if you'd like to support us, come on over there, help us out, buy a shirt, listen to the music, whatever you want. Appreciate it very much. What's going on, chat? Good morning in YouTube world. Eclipse Travis, good morning. Aku, what's going on? Roadkill, Nate, good morning. Altern, good morning. Big Mad Mo, good morning. Waterbear, good morning. Robert Jones, good morning. Roic, good morning. Who am I missing? Anybody else? Nobody else? Everybody else comes rolling in. We'll say hi to you. Good morning. All right, so I saw this tweet. This morning, and we're actually going to talk about this, I think, first, right? So I saw this tweet, and this came from Jez Gordon. All right, Jez Corden, not Gordon. He says, Nintendo itself said 84% of sales were existing Switch owners. The issue is the user base growth, okay? And he has this link down here. He says, if consoles are dead, how do you explain the phenomenal success of Nintendo Switch? Okay, so let's click this. Okay, and it brings us to this. So let's go to the actual article. And it says, if consoles are dead, how do we explain the phenomenal success of Nintendo Switch? Now, before we even get started, I brought up yesterday that the Nintendo, let me get my sheet of paper real fast. Hold on a second. Because I got the numbers yesterday, and we wrote them down. Okay? And Nintendo has, there's the numbers. You can't see them, but I got the numbers. Okay? Nintendo had, in the last 25 years, 290.94 million copies sold. Not copies, systems sold. Okay? The GameCube sold 21 million units in the early 2000s. Okay? 2006, when the Wii came out, that exploded. We've never seen anything like it before at that time. Okay, well, that's not true. Well, yeah, because PlayStation wasn't even at that point yet. PlayStation 2. Wii sold 101 units, and Wii Sports sold so well, right? I think it was like 50% of the player base owned Wii Sports. Obviously, it came bundled with it, obviously, but people loved it, right? And they sold 101.63 million units. And then the Wii U came out, and nobody bought it except Waterbear. For 13.56 million units. I joke, but not really. Okay. The Wii U sold absolutely horrendous. Okay. And then obviously the Switch came out and sold 150, to this day, 154.01, okay, million units. And it's probably going to break the PlayStation mark right now at 160 million. Okay. So, but what they don't say in a lot of these things, when they say, oh, the Switch sold really well, the Nintendo Switch 2 is selling really well, Nintendo used to have a console, and then they used to have a mobile, if it was the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, 3DS, right? That's not in the picture anymore. So the people that used to buy this and this are now just buying this. Okay, so there's less people buying the actual consoles, but their one console is selling more. Okay, because we sold 101 million, but I think the what is it? The 3DS sold like 87 million. Let's take that group over there that bought the handheld device, that now bought the Switch device because there is no other handheld device, and that's going to go up more significantly. All right, so let's read this article, shall we? If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. What's going on, Jason? Okay. It says, if consoles are dead, how do we explain the phenomenal success of Nintendo Switch? Okay. He says, when did us all start ignoring Nintendo? Okay. Was it the Wii era? Because at the moment, Nintendo stepped away. When Nintendo decided to leave the raw power of consoles fight between PlayStation and Xbox, it let them slug it out while did something else. Nintendo decided to focus on innovation and creativity and rethink the idea of a console. The Wii, okay, being the result. I remember how it was greeted at the time as the revolution, okay, as what we know then. With the skepticism, it says, what was the comparative low-power toy? It wouldn't stand a chance against the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3, and yet, okay, I ask these questions because we have a wobble in our console town at the moment. We're looking ahead to the future and struggling to see what will be there. It used to be so predictable. Every several years, the big three, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, would release a new game machine and take pot shots on stage on each other at E3. Or in Nintendo's case, they also conduct orchestras with Wiimotes. Okay, but here we are, more than halfway through the 9th generation, and a generation that's widely considered to have not really gotten going, and we're seeing evidence of significant rethinking from Sony and Microsoft. Microsoft has all but abandoned the console battle with Sony and decided to publish Xbox games on all platforms, a move that would also have been unthinkable in previous generations. And I've talked about this in the past because of cloud, right? Because of cloud, and we'll go into cloud in a little bit, but because of the cloud, even though Google came out with Stadia, even though there was OnLive back a decade ago, they decided that what Sega Dreamcast couldn't do, because there was no cloud at that time, Sega would still be around because they tried to, get into that field, but they failed because they undercut themselves and they didn't get a lot of adopters in, so they bailed and just became publishers. Okay, and that's what everyone's thinking that what Xbox is doing. Everyone thinks that Microsoft is Sega, and they might be in the future, right? They are publishing, but they also are going everywhere, and because of the cloud, they're not closing. They're adapting because that's where the future is now, okay? And like I said, we'll go into the cloud in a little bit later, okay? And although Microsoft has repeatedly assured that working on the next-gen Xbox hardware, it's been slippery about what kind of hardware that is. The most recent suggestion being some kind of PC. Now, Sony having a better... First of all, the consoles are PCs. They've always been. They just take that piece out of the PC and make it into a standalone for just gaming because they saw it was a business model, right? So that's why they did it. They are PCs, but just dedicated PCs for gaming, okay? Working on the next-gen Xbox hardware has been slippery slope. It says Sony is having a better time of it, but with the PlayStation 5 outpacing the PlayStation 4 in like-for-like sales, it's close. It might pass it. Right now, I think it's like 4 million under, 3 million under, but it's pretty close. It'll probably be tied by the end of the holiday season this year, right? Sony's having a better time of it, like I said, but Sony appears to be reworking its offerings with the rumored PlayStation handheld device in development. Well, obviously, I called this as well. I've said that PlayStation will probably have another handheld device, which they've had over years. It's not really a stretch of a mind to be like, oh yeah, the Portal was an experiment that went horribly wrong because it wasn't worth it, and we'll have a story about that in a second, okay? There's also significant changes going on, and it's needed as production costs continue to rise, audiences age, primitive import and export tariffs inflate prices even further. It's already been debunked, I guess I should say, about the tariffs, why the prices are going up, right? They're using that as an excuse, but again, systems are already in the States, okay? And if the tariffs are going up, why are other countries raising the price? There's no tariffs over there, right? So there's no longer an entry-level gaming device that used to be on phones are, okay? As though the heyday of console gaming seems to have passed, or has it? It says, "Cue Nintendo, cartwheeling into the Pope-faced industry, sit down, having played hopscotch during a break time, while everyone else has been talking and worrying. Nintendo came up with the answer, the proof. Nintendo this week revealed that the original Nintendo Switch is about to become the best ever selling game machine, soon surpassing the runaway leader, Nintendo DS, which also amassed an incredible 154.02 sales. The Switch has 154.01, okay? A difference of 10,000 sales. And doing the math right, which is also such a trifling figure, it'd also be passed within weeks. Maybe it already has been, okay? So quickly put it into perspective, right? Oh, look, he did the math, right? So you look at the Wii U, 13.56, the 3DS, 75.95, the Wii sold 101.63, GameCube sold 21.74. Remember, the Wii U and GameCube, if you put Xbox there, if it was called the Xbox GameCube, it'd be the shittiest system ever, okay? If you put the Xbox Wii U, it would be the shittiest system ever. But because it's Nintendo, they kind of just like glance over this. 13.56 million units. Absolutely horrendous. Okay. But Nintendo still makes money because of software sales. Okay. The N64 sold 32 million. Super successful. Okay. NES sold 49 million. Super successful. Right? Or Super NES, sorry. The NES sold 61.91 million units way back when. Okay. Game Boy Advance sold 81.5 million units, and Game Boy sold 118 million units. Now remember, there hasn't been a handheld device with a 3DS and whatnot since I think it's been 2011, maybe 2014. So now the Switch has taken this amount right here, the 75.95 million. Now, obviously, maybe those people never owned a console and they just owned the 3DS because it was a cheaper product back then, cheaper price product back then. But now those people don't have a portable device. So where do they have to go? Nintendo merged their portable device with their console device, which is the Switch, and this is why it's very successful. Okay, the Nintendo Switch then has sold 3 times what the Super NES managed and the iconic game machine of yesteryear. Accidentally, the Switch 2 has thundered out of gates even greater pace than Switch 1, a record-breaking pace. Could it be able to keep up? Maybe. I mean, it's still the cheapest next-gen system out in the market, but it's still more expensive, and because of that, more people are going back to buy the Switch 1, okay? But the really impressive thing about the Switch tally is that it has also become the best-selling game machine of all time. In any company, that means that, yes, it could dethrone the PlayStation 2 Sony's 6th-generation phenomenon made more than 160 million sales. According to the figure from Sony's Investor Relations website, a record that has been seemed unsustainable for decades. A success that belonged to the bygone era of the console gaming when everything was a potential and has limitless growth ahead. A time throughout the past and the opportunity, though, passed when along came Nintendo. This is also, remember that the PlayStation 2 didn't cost $500, $600. You could have gotten a PlayStation 2 for like $99 back in the day. Okay, very good system. Very great price back in the day. Even when it was full price, it was still a good system. Okay, it was amazing back then. Okay, so well worth it, right? Make a game, sell a game, make a console, sell a console. Should the Switch sales trickle into a couple more years, and I don't see any reason why it would not, Nintendo's hybrid handheld console machine will surpass PlayStation 2's record within a year or two. Cass, do you mind, back in the beginning of the Switch generation, and sorry state Nintendo was in, with people taking pay cuts while also pledging to reverse the company's fortunes. Don't forget that the Wii U was the company's worst performing machine ever, an extraordinary turnaround. It says, who knows? Perhaps the Switch wouldn't have happened if we didn't have the Wii U. Now, that is a great point. That is a great point. Okay? Let's take a couple examples here, chat. If Battlefield 5 didn't suffer and Battlefield 2042 didn't suffer, would we get a Battlefield 6? Would they put as much effort into Battlefield 6 if Battlefield 5 and 2042 were successful? Probably not, right? Because it failed, they had to make Battlefield 6 better. Even though Battlefield 6 has its issues, it is better than the last iteration, okay? Would Nintendo make the Nintendo Switch if the Wii U was successful? Right? Obviously, hindsight is 2020, okay? If Wii U sold well, and we're talking about numbers of the Wii U selling 80 million units, would we get the Switch 2? No, I don't think we would. But because their system sucked so bad after coming off of the Wii, they had to adapt. They had to change what they were doing, okay, perception-wise, and also technical-wise. So they said, we don't have to compete with PlayStation, okay? We don't have to compete with PlayStation and Xbox. Let them go on their own, and they went to their own island, right? The Wii U was a mobile device. It was the first iteration of the Switch, and now the Switch came out and made it better. But because the Wii U sucked so bad and only made 13 million, Nintendo had to go back and make sure that their next system wasn't shit, okay? Which seemed like the first attempt idea in a handheld console that at the time still had the tether to the box by the TV. What's so impressive, though, about the Nintendo during this time, under the incredible pressure it was also still determined to innovate. Nintendo saw innovation as well out of the potential uniformity, and the Wii and the Switch has created new ways to play and captive people of the world over, beyond the bounds of traditional console gaming. So, of course, Nintendo has not really been ignored, nor has the success of the Switch gone unnoticed. The proof is only to plan to see the device like the Steam Deck and rumored Sony handheld device that also recent the ROG Ally, Xbox Ally X, which are very varying degrees of modeled of the Switch idea. Hybrid handheld consoles that also plug into your television. These represent an unspoken validation of the idea of Nintendo hit upon 8 years ago. Not anyone seems has publicly acknowledged it. Nintendo apparently seems to be the odd one out, perhaps to its benefit. Now, let's take that. I always talk about islands. I always talk about how Nintendo went this way and these two stayed where they were. They still made the exact same console that everybody wanted, right? I remember, Pepperidge Farm remembers. When the Switch came out, people were like, who wants to play on a small screen? Who wants to do that? And yet, for some strange reason, everyone still went out and bought one. If it's nostalgia, if it's the kids that they instilled in you when you were younger, that's the first system you ever got, and you bought a Nintendo, people bought it. People bought it in droves, and then COVID happened. Just a couple years after the Switch came out. And everyone went out and bought it for Animal Crossing, right? They bought it for all their games, but Animal Crossing was sold a shit ton of copies, okay, for the Switch. People bought the Switch because of Marvel Ultimate Alliance, okay? People bought it for many different reasons, but they liked it because, 1, it's good for kids. 2, it was good for traveling. 3, it was Nintendo, right? We know the Nintendo crowd is the same like as adult Disney guys, all right, or adults, I should say, okay, because they loved Nintendo when they were kids, and now they're older and they can afford the stuff, so they buy the stuff, right? Nintendo has its market. Going back to yesterday, the market is 250 million people, right? Maybe 300 million people, but not really because there's overlap there between everything, right? So what Sony and Microsoft are making beyond the Switch, like handhelds, we don't know. We can expect that Sony will do a PlayStation 6 and Microsoft will do an Xbox-branded PC, okay? And maybe these ideas will work, maybe they won't, except that the static physical consoles cater to an increasingly small core audience, okay? Without the usual rivalries, the next generation will probably feel a little weird, but Nintendo will still be there. Nintendo will be there like it always has been, and they're surviving, thriving, quietly leading the way. And this is why... This is why we have a song. Started way back in 1889. Right? Xbox knows, or I'm sorry, Nintendo knows what it's doing. They paved their own way. Crazy Uncle Nintendo doing it their way. Duck Hunt Zappers, 8-bit gold. Mario's magic stories untold. From NES to the Game Boy's glow, always ahead, stealing the show. Crazy Uncle Nintendo marching to their beat, while Sony and Microsoft compete. They don't follow trends, they rewrite the play. Switch 2's coming and it's here to stay. Now, I wrote that song before the Switch 2 came out and whatnot, right? Nintendo knows what they're doing. Even with the sad performance of the Wii U, Nintendo has never beaten the drum to everybody else. They've always gone the opposite direction, right? When everyone was making cartridges, they made discs. Then everyone chased them with discs, okay? But they didn't make discs normal. They made mini discs, okay? They've always constantly innovated and did something different, proprietary to their actual system. Now they made the Switch, and they made the cards, right? There was no discs, right? Now there's digital. Everyone's the same. But Nintendo has never followed the other guys. This is why I call them Crazy Uncle Nintendo, because you don't know what they're going to do. You have no idea what Nintendo's going to do, right? they're playing it safe here with the Switch 2 because they're like, we'll just update the graphics and do a bunch of stuff. We can make an extra $150 off of each of the consoles. It's basically the Switch, but it's Switch 2. It's innovative. Okay. It would have been great if it was called the Super Switch, like you guys said, right? So there it is, right? They've never, ever followed suit. Now you look at other people in the industry. You look at other people in the industry like Xbox, right? And there's articles here, and they're talking about it. Well, they're changing, and it worked for them. But yet, when other people try to do it, other companies try to do it, like Microsoft's trying to do right now, everyone's like, they're dead. They're dead. In every form factor, you look at this, right? The GameCube sucked. The Wii U sucked. 2 of the 3 consoles over the last 25 years made less than 30 million units, which is less than, okay? Like if you take this number from Nintendo, the Wii U, okay, the Wii U and the GameCube combined 34 million units. Xbox has got more sales than that with one system, right? 2 systems in 25 years were lower than 25 million units, 22 million units, okay? Which is insanity. And yet, Nintendo's still here. Nintendo's still here. Why is that? Why is that? Because they have a fan base that buys the software. So now you look at Xbox and what PlayStation's doing in their own island. Xbox went over to here, and they're putting their stuff on PlayStation. They're putting their stuff on PC, right? You can sell less consoles and yet make more money because you're selling the software to other companies. You're selling the software across the board. The pool opens up for you. All right. So now I want to go back to this article here. Okay. And going back to this article, someone commented down here with this article. It said, I said this last year, looking at the numbers, right? This is from 12 hours ago. Now we talked about, I read a little bit of this in the beginning. Okay. So I want to kind of read this. Okay, it says, is the console market growing or just shifting? Deep dive into Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo sales. Now, we talked about this yesterday. Okay, now the video game console market has experienced significant shifts over the years, but the pressing question remains, is the market truly growing, or are the major players merely trading market shares? To answer this, we need to look at the sales data from the earlier generations to current ones. Okay, now this article, okay, was literally written, I believe, last year, June. Let me go back for a second. Yeah, July 22 of 2024 is where this gentleman wrote this article, okay? All right, so the sales data and trends. Xbox, the original Xbox launched in 2001, sold 24 million units, right? We literally went over these numbers yesterday by myself. I wrote them all down on a piece of paper, okay? I did all the math and did all the stuff, and if I just waited a day, okay? If I just waited a day, I could have just done the information here. Okay, so he goes over the Xbox information. He goes over the PlayStation information. He goes over the Nintendo information. Generation over generation comparison. Comparing these generation highlights the shift and the challenges. Okay, Xbox, the original Xbox established the brand, but the Xbox 360 marked a significant rise in sales. However, the Xbox One saw a decline. The Xbox Series S and X struggled to gain similar traction. PlayStation 2 remains unmatched in sales. The PlayStation 3 faced challenges, but the PlayStation 4 restored strong sales, and the PlayStation 5 continues the trend. Okay, maintaining a slightly edge in early sales figures despite supply chain issues. Okay, and I think personally, why PlayStation is so successful over these years is because Nintendo was basically everyone's first system, right? Basically everyone's first system. But then when you get into like the teenage years, your early adulthood, you finally, can afford your own system and stuff. You're like, I don't really want to play Nintendo because Nintendo games are kind of kiddish, right? There's still people, obviously a lot of people that want to play Nintendo games. But a lot of people are like, you know what, I'm going to buy a PlayStation. At the time, right? This is before Xbox came out. PlayStation was doing it with PlayStation 1, then PlayStation 2 came out. And a lot of people were like, again, price had a big factor in this. Because people are still buying PlayStation 2s today to play their old games and whatnot, right? So, unmatched, the PlayStation 3 faced the challenges of PlayStation 4 and early figures despite supply chain issues. Nintendo 64 and GameCube had modest sales, but the Wii was a massive success. The Switch continues success stories showing sustained demand even at this ages. Now, the market dynamic and growth potential. Is the market growing? The console market has not shown substantial growth, overall growth, which we talked about yesterday. Okay? Instead, it's characterized as competitive shifts amongst major players. Supply chain disruptions due to COVID-19 pandemic economic factors such as inflation have played significant roles in the stagnation. Okay, yet Nintendo was fine, right? Can the market grow? For the console market to grow in the world with diverse gaming platforms, PC, mobile devices, and cloud gaming, companies might need to, one, innovate in hardware, developing unique high-performance consoles that offer experiences beyond what available on other devices. Well, the problem with that is, even if PlayStation, right? Because I always said that PlayStation is the higher-end market, and then Xbox is like everybody else. You know what I mean? It's like if you took Nintendo's like the kids, Xbox is like the mid-ground, and then PlayStation is the high-end. Well, the problem is if PlayStation makes a high-end system, like they're doing now, Xbox and PlayStation, if their next consoles are $8,000, $9,000, $1,200, now you're in the PC realm, okay? Which kind of negates what they're doing here beyond the availability of other devices. Well, other devices are already out there. PCs are already out there. PCs play much better with graphic-wise and whatnot at that price point. But yet now the consoles might be that price point. So it's a little weird, right? Two, expand the ecosystem, strengthening, okay, integration of consoles within other devices, enhancing cloud gaming services and ensure backwards compatibility, which they are, right? Xbox does play anywhere, right? You can play your old games on the Xbox 360, Xbox One, backwards compatibility, play anywhere, cloud gaming. They've done that, right? And now there's rumors, which we'll get to in a little bit, about how PlayStation might be doing the exact same thing. Three, exclusive content. Investing in compelling exclusive games that cannot be experienced anywhere else, ensuring a strong lineup for first-party titles. Now, the problem with this one is that the solo games, why, if they take a game and they put $250 million, $350 million, $400 million into a first-party title game, and then they put it out on the PlayStation, or they put it out on Xbox, or they put it out on Nintendo, one of these systems is successful with first-party titles all the time, which is Nintendo. PlayStation is successful, but not what they would like it to be, right? Because Nintendo's selling 69 million copies of Mario Kart Deluxe 8, okay? But yet, God of War's whole franchise, okay, is like 73 million. The entire franchise. So when you have a God of War come out, the brand new one in 2018, and it sells 11 million units, but your potential is 154, or I'm sorry, 140 or whatever million units for PlayStation 4. There's a big differential there, right? Same with Xbox. They put a whole bunch of money in their first-party titles, and they sell 4 million units, 5 million units. They're like, well, what do we do? Right? So they have to start moving them to other platforms, which both are doing. One is doing it day and date. The other one is doing it, which was 24 months after, which then turned into 21 months, which then turned to 14 months, which might go down to a year, which might go to day and date. We don't know yet, right? But they're all doing this. They all have to adapt and move. Okay. Number 4 is affordability and accessibility, offering budget-friendly options and flexible payment plans to attract wider audience. Now, they're not really doing this with the payment plans. I mean, they are. But a lot of people, the other alternative now is the cloud gaming, or the PlayStation Plus Premium, or the Xbox Game Pass Premium. These are the two differentiates, right? They're both two sides of the same coin, right? Two sides of the same coin. Is that the expression, right? So PlayStation and Xbox are doing the exact same thing, just in kind of two different forms. One's doing day and date, and the other one is not doing day and date, but they're also doing the premium plus premium type of thing, right? It says that substantial growth is necessary, or is substantial growth necessary. While growth is desirable, the console market current trajectory might be sufficient given the evolving landscape of gaming. The rise of cloud gaming and flexibility of playing on the multiple devices suggests that while consoles remain important, the focus may shift to an ecosystem and service quality rather than just hardware sales. Now, this guy wrote this a year ago. I've been talking about this for years. Okay, this is exactly what it is. There's still a market for people to buy a console, but not everybody wants a console because not everyone can afford a console. You might have a job, okay, and it's successful. Other people are like, well, I want to play games too, but I can't afford a $500 system. But I already have a TV, and I can afford $10 a month. So maybe I'll purchase that. Maybe I can afford $30 a month, right? As they're holding their $12 Starbucks coffee in their hand, okay? So In conclusion, it says the console market path reflects broader changes in the gaming industry. While traditional growth in hardware sales may slow, innovation and integration across platforms is likely to drive the next wave of gaming experience. Whether the market needs substantial growth or thrive on some current path remains the key question of industry stakeholders. Okay, so there you go. This article was written last year, and I happened to see it when I saw Jez Gordon talking about this article, right, what he was talking about. Where he did this, and then I scrolled down here, and I happened to see this, and literally we talked about this yesterday, and I've been talking about this for years, okay? So, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you guys think, right? Where do you think this goes as far as what do these companies have to do? What do they have to do to adapt and survive inside the market? Okay, so all the links in the descriptions are down below. Actually, did I have... I don't think I have this one. Let me put this article here for you. I don't think I had this one up there. Maybe we do. Oh. There we go. Eurogamer. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So there's the Eurogamer article there as well. All right, so let me see what you guys are saying. Let me scroll back up and talk about what you guys are talking about. Waterbear says, I think the Wii U failed because it didn't name it the Wii Me. That's a bad dad joke for the day. Mo says, I don't know if it's still trying to figure out where they got that extra few million sales. Jason says, customers weren't sure if the Wii U was even an upgrade. It was all marketed so poorly. Let's see here. World says, don't you dare compare me to Disney adults. Also, what's up, everyone? Did I point you out specifically? I mean, did you just admit that you're a Disney adult? I didn't admit that. You just admit that. Eclipse says, what did Sega Saturn come out? Didn't that use a disc? I didn't have one. Oh yeah. Sega Saturn had a disc. Yeah, but Sega Saturn, that came out way before. Right? Remember, Nintendo came out with a disc, but they came out with mini discs. Right? Mini discs. Let's see. No, I didn't talk about the cross-buying thing yet. House. What's going on, House? Let's see. Mike, these guys did it, and you'll always do it, but nobody else pays attention to you. No. Why? For narrative. That's why. I think it's just because I'm just small, right? Nobody knows I'm here. There's people that have 1 million followers, and I didn't even know they existed. So why would it be any different for a person that's under 2,500? You know what I mean? 2,600 followers. But I've been saying this on podcasts for years. Again, it's just nobody knows who I am or where to find me or whatnot. But it's okay. I know what I'm saying. I'm consistent. Crowded House says, think about how the PlayStation 6 will come out at God knows what price, and the Switch 2 will still be $450. Yeah. Even if it's at like 500, whatever, if they raise the prices because of tariffs go up in 5 years or whatever it is, right? It's a very attractable thing, right? Like right now, you look at the Switch and go, $500, I'm not going to get that. So a lot of people are buying the Switch 1, and they know that, hence why they raised the price of the Switch 1, right? They're like, oh, well, right? In no way, shape, or form is Nintendo losing money off the Switch 1 after 150 million units sold, and then the Switch 2 was announced, and then a couple months afterwards, they raised the price of the Switch 1, right? Because they know that people are like, well, I'm not going to pay for $500, $450, $500, so I want to pay for the cheaper one. Let's see here. Water says 30. Cloud is definitely the future, but it also depends on the betterment of the network cloud gaming is running on. It doesn't matter, Water, if a person's having problems with the cloud. If let's just say they just did cloud in all major cities that had good internet, and there's, I don't know, 1 million people, 2 million people that are getting really good cloud stuff, right? And they're making money off of that small portion. That's fine. As they test and as they expand, okay, which goes into more more in depth of like conspiracy theories, and when they spend a lot of money into the infrastructure, they pay money towards businesses to make things better, right? Because they know where the future is going, because these guys are investing in this company, and this company is investing in that company, and that company is investing in this company, which makes the fiber optic cable, right? There's a bunch of stuff that goes behind the scenes. They will make their money, and they will take a hit and sell you broke, buggy, unfinished games. They will have people that pay or play on services that are not great, but they're still reasonable until it is good, right? That's what they do. Come on, right? Phone companies do the exact same thing. They sell you high prices on your service, and then all of a sudden they make the service better. Oh, hold on one second. I think there's somebody. Yeah, real quick. Let me. Someone dropped a package off at my door. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Well, I booted up south of midnight, feeling fine. Got my spells, my sass, I'm ready to shine. Then boom, big beast, 20 arms, breathing fire. I died so much, my controller retired. I tried to roll, parry, and dash on cue. Game said, get good. I said, nah, I'm through. And right when I almost snapped and quit, I heard a whisper, a gospel hit. Skip the boss, John Walker said. Just walk on past, don't be misled. Games ain't chores, they're meant for fun. So let that angry dragon stay undone. You ain't gotta fight no squid with knives, or study boss moves like it's changing lives. Hit skip, sip tea, and read instead. Just skip the boss, like John Walker said.
All right, sorry about that. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. Waterbear says, I think this. Oh, what was I saying? I was saying the cable providers, right? They charge you the same amount of money, and all of a sudden they raise the data, right? But they leave you at the price that you used to have, that you used to pay. Okay, so they used to sit there and go, oh well, we won't tell them that we raised the price, right? We won't tell them that we raised the price. And then you call and you're like, hey, my internet feels a little slow. Oh, we have a new package. Oh, and you've been grandfathered into the last package, but we need you to upgrade and stuff like that, right? They do it all the time. Same thing. They'll have the infrastructure, slowly but surely, and everyone will move to the cloud because that's what the market wants. Mo says the console market is stagnant. They're also selling to the same clientele. Correct. Now they're trying to get out to other clientele. Water says, I always find it weird that PlayStation and Xbox owners don't really purchase their first-party titles. But when it drops on PC, the sales do double, almost double. Right. Because people that own a console and a PC, if they know it's coming to PC, they'll buy it because the graphics are going to be better. And if they're going to pay $70, one, they won't pay $70 because if it's a $70, $80 game, they'll get it for cheaper on GOG or whatever. So they're getting it for cheaper, and they're getting better quality, right? Well, better graphics-wise or whatever. Obviously, the quality of the game is still up for debate because they still come out broke, buggy, and unfinished. What's going on, Argus? Let's see. Anybody else say? What's going on, Drummond? Just wondering why the stream feed went black all of a sudden. I don't know. Maybe it's because I went on break. Is that it? Or did it just cut out for you? It seems fine on my side. Yesterday we got blipped. Today we didn't get blipped. So all right. Let's go to the next story, which has to do with PlayStation. There's two things. There's cloud gaming one. There's the cloud gaming one, which we talked about like 2 weeks ago, right? We talked about 2 weeks ago. And the cloud streaming officially arrives on PlayStation Portal today, which was yesterday, for digital PlayStation 5 games in your library. Now, we talked about this, and Water educated me last week saying that this has already been on the device since November of last year for beta. But now it's out of beta, and now it's actually a thing, right? So now it's actually out there for everybody else. If you guys like what I do here, we just cover news stories. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Now, before I even read this, maybe a lot of you don't realize this, but PlayStation, back in you guys can check me on this, I think it's 2014, 13, 14, something like that, is when PlayStation started investing in cloud, okay? Microsoft didn't start investing in cloud until 2020, okay? So PlayStation, back in the day, also bought the patents from OnLive. OnLive was a cloud-based system, okay, where you could stream your games on the cloud. And PlayStation or Sony didn't buy this company, but what they did do is they bought the assets of that company. And the reason that PlayStation bought the assets of this company was to stop other competitors for doing cloud gaming. This is why Microsoft came up with their own cloud gaming and not using the same thing as that, right? Hence why Sony has better cloud gaming than Microsoft, because they've been doing it since 2014, which is 6 years before Xbox did it. But since that time, PlayStation actually, I believe, uses Azure now for their cloud gaming and stuff, but the patents and stuff that Sony owns from OnLive, and then they also bought another, I forget what the company, it starts with a G, I forget what it's called. I butcher names all the time anyway. But Sony's been in the cloud gaming market now for over a decade, right? Over a decade. Okay? And that's what they built the PlayStation Now on, okay? And here we are 11 years later, and everyone's like, oh, PlayStation's following Xbox. I mean, they literally had OnLive or PlayStation Now in 2014. They were doing cloud gaming before Xbox, and Xbox is doing it because they changed their whole business model on it. But I just want to put it out there. Was it called G Cloud? Is that what it was called? I'm not sure. I would have to, you know what? Let me look it up on my, I believe it was called, hold on, let me see. What was it called? It was PlayStation. They bought OnLive, but then there was another company. I can't think of the name. I don't even know what to type in. Is it cloud gaming? Cloud gaming. Does Sony PlayStation have cloud gaming? Did Sony buy PlayStation? Get cloud? No. Did Sony PlayStation buy OnLive? Which I know they didn't. They bought the assets. Let me see if it tells me the other thing, though. OnLive. Reason for acquisition. It talks about the reason for acquisition. No, it doesn't say. I forget what the actual thing was, but there was another service out there. And it's slipping my mind right now. But there was another OnLive service out there, a company, which I believe PlayStation did purchase later. Okay. Again, they didn't buy OnLive. They bought the assets of online to stop cloud gaming or their competitors to do it. Okay. So here we are, right? Here we are 11 years later, and cloud streaming officially arrives on PlayStation Portal. Now, you guys know where I stand on the PlayStation Portal. When it came out, I said it's useless. It's stupid. It's stupid to be $200. Okay, which I was corrected. I said $250. It was $200. You guys corrected me a couple weeks ago. Okay, the $200 device. I was like, you can do that on your phone right now. You can do that on other devices right now. You don't even need a portal. I said if they came out with the portal day one and they said you could play your games on this device, it would have been fantastic. It would have sold like hotcakes and flown off the shelves, but it didn't fly off the shelves because it just wasn't a good device. Okay, now good device meaning worth your money. Okay, good device. It's still a good device. It's got a nice screen. People like the actual controls on it. Like it's a nice device. But when I say good device, I'm talking about people looked at it and said, well, why do I need this? I don't. Okay, but now because of this, if the cloud gaming comes through, then you could just play a PlayStation Premium, right? And then you could stream your games. But again, it's not. It sold good though. It didn't sell good. Those are false. It sold less than 1.6 million copies, if I'm not mistaken. If you say that's good, then fantastic. Then it was gangbusters, okay? But it wasn't good because it wasn't offering enough to the actual thing. Okay, so Xbox Cloud Streaming officially arrives on PlayStation Portal today with the new support of the digital PlayStation 5 games in your library. It says, at PlayStation, we're always working to push the boundaries of how players experience games. Since PlayStation Portal Remote Player first launched back in November of 2023, we continue to evolve the device with updates like enhanced public Wi-Fi support and UX improvements. Last year, we also introduced a cloud streaming beta, which allowed PlayStation Plus Premium members to access the select PlayStation 5 games for PlayStation Plus game catalog and classic catalog of cloud streaming without needing to connect to the PlayStation 5 console through remote play, right? So 2 years ago when it came out, it didn't do this. 1 year afterwards, it did, okay? Again, if it did it in the beginning, because you could just buy this device and then play PlayStation games, which would be amazing, right? Because then you wouldn't need to buy a $500 system. Well, PlayStation knows that, and they're like, well, we need them to buy the $500 system so they can buy the $200 device so they can actually use the device on the go. So today we're excited to share that the PlayStation Portal is receiving one of the biggest updates yet. Starting on November 5th at 6 p.m. Pacific, November 6th at 2 a.m. GMT, cloud streaming on PlayStation 5 games officially launches on PlayStation Portal for PlayStation Plus Premium members, along with a variety of new features and enhance how you can play. Okay, which is, if you're already a member, if you're already a PlayStation Premium member and you have this device, well, you've just been upgraded. It's fantastic, right? It says cloud streaming for PlayStation 5 games in your library. PlayStation Plus Premium members can now stream select digital PlayStation 5 games from their own library. At launch, thousands of PlayStation 5 games support cloud streaming, including blockbusters such as Astrobot, Borderlands 4, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Fortnite, Ghosts of Yotei, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Resident Evil 4. Now, I have a question here. If we just go back a couple of months ago, when Microsoft said that you could do this, and everyone's like, well, you don't need to buy the system anymore. Bye-bye, Xbox. You're going down. Aren't they doing the exact same thing? Isn't this the exact same thing? Why do I need a PlayStation now if I could just buy a PlayStation Portal and get a PlayStation Premium and just pay a monthly fee? And I own the game. I buy the game, pay a monthly fee to play it on my portable device. They're doing the same thing. They're all doing the same thing. Where have you heard that before? Everyone in the industry does the exact same thing because they are the standard. They tell you what's happening in the industry and everyone goes, okay, right? Like this is what happens. In addition to hundreds of compatible games from PlayStation Plus game catalog and classic catalog, including Cyberpunk 2077, God of War Ragnarok, Hogwarts Legacy, Swords of the Sea, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, also streamable directly from the cloud. Cloud streaming unlocks new ways to play, enjoying a game side by side with a friend who's also using the PlayStation 5 under the separate account. On stream your favorite games while also someone else watching a movie on the console. Cloud streaming also makes it easier to enjoy PlayStation 5 games on the go, at a hotel, in a cafe, friend's place, or anywhere else with the high-speed internet Wi-Fi connection. Since you can keep playing even when you're on PlayStation 5 console, back home is powered off or is in use by another account. Again, you console warriors, when one person does it, one side does it, it's the end of the world. When the other side does it, look at this. It's amazing. Me, I said, this is great. More places to play your games. Now, again, if this came out when the console launched, the Portal would have sold a shit ton. Not 1.6 million. Okay? Not 1.6 million. It would have sold 5, 7, 8, 10 million units because it's the cheapest console on the market. Right now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Portal all of a sudden starts to sell like hotcakes and starts to sell millions and millions of units this holiday season, because if someone's looking at this and going, let me price this out. If I buy a $200 device, which I can get for cheaper now, okay? If I can get a Portal for cheaper now and then pay the, what is it, $18, $19, $20 a month for a PlayStation Premium, you buy the game and then you pay the $20 or whatever it is, and you can stream those games from the cloud. That is a much cheaper option than the $500 Nintendo Switch. A much cheaper option than a $700 Xbox. A much cheaper option than a $700 PlayStation. You understand what I'm saying? Right? And they know this, and this is why they stopped in the way. This is also another reason you don't buy things day one, right? Because obviously this device is a much better device today, okay, than it was 2 years ago. Okay, so it says refresh home screen now features 3 tabs: remote play, cloud streaming, and search. Remote play Home screen, connect the PlayStation 5 console paired with the PlayStation Portal to enjoy games installed on your console. PlayStation Plus member is not required to remote play because you own the system, right? Cloud streaming home screen, a new dedicated home screen for cloud streaming allows PlayStation Plus premium members to instantly stream a range of compatible PlayStation 5 games without waiting for downloads. And then search screen, quickly look up any game and support cloud streaming. If you don't have an entitlement of a game, a QR code will be displayed direct to you on the PlayStation app and the web browser on another device. Okay. Enhanced gameplay experience. The update also introduces several new features designed to make playing a PlayStation Portal more immersive and connective. Okay. New features of remote play of cloud streaming. You got 3D audio support. 3D audio support is now available during remote play and cloud streaming to support games when using a compatible audio device. Immerse yourself in spatial sound and wired headphones or compatible PlayStation Link wireless audio device. You got passcode lock. You get network status screen. Okay. New features for cloud streaming. In-game store. In-game purchases are now supported during cloud streaming. You can purchase add-on items in your game currency. Isn't that amazing? So they can get you in the ecosystem more. I mean, this is what they want, right? I mean, get the Portal. You have to pay for a premium. Otherwise, you can't use the device if you don't, right? If you own the device and you don't own a PlayStation, you have to have premium. If you don't have, can you do remote play if you don't have premium? I need to know that, chat. Can you do remote play if you don't have premium on PlayStation? Do you have to have premium to do remote play? I don't think you do, but maybe you do. You guys let me know. Okay. Accessibility options. Enable the accessibility option during cloud streaming, such as screen reader and adjustable text size. Okay. Game innovation. Receive game invites from friends that are playing on the game during cloud streaming and join multiplayer things. We're also thrilled to bring you cloud streaming as these new features of PlayStation Portal. We can also thank you, PlayStation community, enough for embracing the device since launch. Your feedback and enthusiasm continue to shape its evolution, and we keep working to expand. So there you go. So if you paid for this 2 years ago, you overpaid. And now it's a much better device 24 months later. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Play Anywhere is a good thing now. Yeah, it's a good thing now, Mo. It wasn't a good thing before when another company was doing it. Eclipse says it's like 30 was right or something. Everyone's going to cloud. That's crazy. Yeah, I know it's crazy. Probably not. I didn't think so. Okay. Maybe I don't know. I pay for it. Yeah, I don't know if you have to, like if someone has a PlayStation and a Portal, you should be able to play remote play, right? Because I can do that on my cell phone with my console without having Game Pass, I believe. Just the minimum. I don't have to have premium. I could do remote play, I think, because my son uses it. I don't even know. You know, that's a good question that I asked myself, because I have premium or ultimate now, whatever the fuck it's called. And you can play remote play. I think you have to pay the highest price to do remote play. I think you do. I guess I could ask the computer, but I would rather ask chat because I would like you guys to get involved in the conversation. Okay. Street Shadow says you don't need premium or remote play just for the cloud gaming. Wait, you don't need premium for remote play, just for cloud streaming. Okay. So if it's remote play, you're playing off your actual console, you don't need premium, but on PlayStation, I get it, on PlayStation. But if you have premium, then you can do cloud streaming on there. So right now, and this is what Water and me always go back and forth, like, you don't need this device. You don't need another device. If you have a cell phone, a tablet, or whatever, you can do remote play right now on your system, right? Now, obviously, nicer screen, bigger screen to play on. You got the controller. You're not playing with the touch screen or the shitty thing. Maybe you don't like to use the backbone, right? But there's ways around it. But the real conversation here is, why is PlayStation doing this now? Why is PlayStation doing this now? Because that's where the industry is going. They're like, wait a minute, we're leaving money on the table. We're leaving money on the table. Why should PlayStation care? Okay, why should PlayStation care if you're not in the ballpark to buy a PlayStation, but all of a sudden this Portal comes out and it's $200? You're like, wait a minute, I can get a $200 PlayStation and pay. Obviously, you won't have remote play because you don't own a PlayStation, but then pay for a premium, a monthly fee, and then you can have it and stop it anytime you want. So if a game comes out, then you can play those games and then stop it. Now, are PlayStation going or Sony going to do day and date? Not right now, but that gap window is shrinking by the month, okay? Where it used to be 3 years, then it went down to 2 years, then it went down to 15 and 14 months, right? I've said this for years that it will be day and date because that's where the market's going, right? I feel like a broken record, but it's everyone's first time here watching me. So those of you who are here every day, I'm sorry, but I'm going to repeat the same shit over and over. Okay. Thanks for the information, Street. Robert Jones says you don't need premium for remote play. Jason says remote play has been a thing since PlayStation P, PlayStation 3. So I guess that was the first Play Anywhere type of thing. Yes, Jason. Right? It's been this is why I preemptively say that cloud gaming's been around and PlayStation's been cloud gaming for 11 years. But yet people are wondering like, Xbox is going cloud gaming, the world's coming to an end. But PlayStation's doing it and now it's innovative. Right? It was innovative before, but that wasn't where the market was. They were future-proofing themselves. And here we are, we're in the future now. Street says, actually, after the update, they even onboard you with the QR code to download their PlayStation app and link the subs to premium. Right, because they want you in the ecosystem, right? This is exactly why they wanted you to sign in when you played Helldivers on Steam. This is exactly why when you played other games, they wanted you to sign in because they want to try to get you in on the ecosystem. But this is not something that is only limited to PlayStation. All the companies do this, right? You have to have a Nintendo login. You have to have a Microsoft login. You have to have a PlayStation login. And people just like, I don't want that. Well, then you can't play the game because they want you to have a certain login. You want a certain award? Like, it's funny to me. If you told somebody to pay $1,000 to spy on them, right? They're like, okay. If you told them, hey, we're giving you this for free, you're not spying on me. And they're like, well, we just gave you a cell phone with a microphone, a camera, and stuff. And they're like, yeah, I'll pay $1,000 for that. Don't even bat an eye. But you ask someone to sign into something, and you're like, hey, I need you to sign into this. Fuck that, I'm not signing in. What, are you trying to get my information? Right? They all want you in the ecosystem, because if you're in the ecosystem, if you're buying something, if you're playing something, and if they have your info, they can sell that information to somebody else. That's why you get text spam. That's why you get phone calls, because they market your information to other people. They know your advertisers, right? This guy is 47. He's in a family. He lives in this area. This is his income. They know everything about you, right? They know everything about you. Waterbear says, 30, I just tagged you in an Arc Raiders update video. Okay. She says, yeah, Sony started a bunch of cloud gaming stuff back in the PlayStation 3 when they also bought... That's... Street, I wish you were here like 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. That is it. Gakai, whatever it is. Right? I knew. I was like, there was another thing they purchased in 2014, right? 2014, 2015, they purchased another live service because they bought On Live for the assets. And I was like, there was a company they bought, and I couldn't remember the name. I said, it started with a G. That's it. Thank you very much for showing up today. See, chat, I'm not crazy. Well, I am crazy, but I'm not crazy on that. Robert Jones says you need the basics PlayStation sub to remove play or remote play. Remote play? Remove play. Remote play. You have a PlayStation 4, right? You can try on your phone or PC. Travis says, real question. Tomorrow is N7 day. Do we think we have anything for Mass Effect, or we don't just more a sign that we're getting delayed? I think they'll do like some sort of post or something like that. I don't think... Maybe they do like a tease. Maybe a tease, Travis. Oh, you're definitely crazy. Like a fox. Yeah, I'm crazy like a fox. The next thing we want to talk about is PlayStation 5 and PC cross-buy option has been discovered and verified. Now, I don't know what this is. Again, we do our discovery live on chat where you guys submit stories, I submit stories. If you want to be part of our Discord, you want to be part of our our little community here, you can hit that like button, you can hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go become a member as little as $5. I do appreciate you very much for coming out and hanging out with us for a minute, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. I appreciate you very much. We read the stories, and then I give you my thoughts and opinions on the stories that we read live on the channel. So, a PlayStation 5 and PC cross-buy option has been discovered and verified. Now, I know when people read this, they're like, "Hey, day and date." I don't know if this is day and date just yet. This might be that they're trying to go for their own like competitor to Steam. their own launcher type of stuff, but we'll see. We could finally be getting a PlayStation 5 and PC cross-buy capabilities as a symbol has been discovered in PlayStation Store data. While it's not official, the new report means that PlayStation is testing the waters with PlayStation 5 and cross-buy, and owners of both platforms could be for a dual entitlement sooner rather than later. Why do you think, if this is true, we haven't read further than the first paragraph, but if this is true, why would PlayStation do this? Because less people are buying consoles, right? Less people are buying consoles, and they want to get out to the masses as much as possible. Plus, the value. If I'm going to pay $70 or $80 for a video game and I can get 2 copies of it, it's pretty good, right? Because you're getting it on your console. You can also get it on your PC or whatnot, okay? So for the longest time, Xbox and PC owners have been able to enjoy cross-buy purchases, meaning you can buy a game on Xbox and also play the title on PC, and vice versa. If a new report is accurate, PC players might be about to get the best of both worlds. So is this the end of PlayStation? Because everyone on this other side is saying that this is the end of Xbox because they're putting their stuff on PC. Is this the end of PlayStation? Obviously, I'm being hyperbolic. No, it's not the end of PlayStation. They're just doing what everyone else is doing. Okay? Could we be getting a PlayStation 5 and PC cross-buy? The news first broke on November 4th that the new symbols that have been discovered on the PlayStation Store files. The initial findings came from X account Amexis. Said, quote, the symbols will be added soon, websites and tool. But here are some of the nice new features from PlayStation. Yes, some are old and others are unseen. A kind of echo mode, PlayStation 5/PC games and cross-buy. The message also showed a symbol that they also look like and also seemed very real. So here's the way it looks like over on X. Okay, so there you see the purchase. You see the thing here, cross-buy, PlayStation 5/PC, cloud, okay, and then cross progression and save. I would assume that's what that means, okay? It says it was a big yet confident statement, but there has been a fair amount of trepidation about the potential claim. However, reliable outlet Deal Labs has done some testing into the matter. We decided to conduct our own investigation on the new symbols discovered, but especially on the date edition of the data, determine if it's also real or old symbols. The ever-reliable describe how the interesting special characters in an About section about the PlayStation Network account and also results does indeed show that the symbol actually exists. Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, my goodness. You know what this means, chat? I got a song about it. Oh, I have to find it. Hold on. I gotta get the song. It's in our other catalog that hasn't been published yet. It's the other song. Walls. The walls are breaking down. So let's get this going, because why not promote my own stuff, right? I mean, why not? Here, no walls.
Yo, 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 yo. To be wars, now it's open doors. Gamers everywhere, no matter the store. Multi-platform rise, let's go. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Remember the times when the console wars burned? Had to pick a side, bridges never got turned. Exclusive drops kept us stuck in the fight. Now they shipping everywhere and it feeling right. Halo hit Steam, Kratos left home. Sony cross seas, now we standing on Chrome. Call of Duty don't care where you log in, whether blue, green, red, everybody's locked in. Back then, bragging like my box the best. Now it's yo, what you playing on? That's the real flex. Squads don't split, we unite for the win. Whether PC frames or a pad in your hand. Nintendo still holding Mario tight, but even rumors say Zelda might take flight. From couch to the cloud, from a disc to a stream. Gaming's for us all, that's the multiply dream. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC in sight. No more fences, we're breaking the chains. Gamers worldwide all share the same game. Cross-play, cross-life, everybody getting hype.
So there you go. Right? It's like we can predict the future here. Only you're not. You're wrong. Who's wrong? Who's wrong? Everything's coming everywhere. Like, what are we talking about? Right? So it says more evidence. Before the addition of the symbol, other clues were present through the PlayStation Store data in some of the site's CSS files. We also discovered the mention of the cross-buy tag in some properties of the file. We also tried to produce the CSS style on text. The result corresponds exactly to the symbol found on the console. The result is shown in the image below. You can also do the test by yourself with a template created on the code pen. Now, could this be a huge coup for PC gamers? Or PlayStation 5 players, for that matter? Let us know in your thoughts. So what does this mean? Does this mean that everything's jumping over? I mean, obviously, I would think that PlayStation wants money, right? Everyone loves money. Companies love money. They have to do the corporate salute, right? The thing has to keep going up. If companies don't adapt, they will die. And I don't want PlayStation to die. Do you want PlayStation to die? I don't want Xbox to die. Do you guys want Xbox to die? Right? The answer should be 100% no. Because if one of these companies goes bye-bye, then you get what we have with EA, with Madden. You get with Activision, with Call of Duty. When there's no competition, they do minimal viable product. And when they do minimal viable product, you as a consumer suffer because you don't get competition. Right? So if one of these companies, again, Nintendo's on their own island, Xbox is trying to go on their own island, okay? PlayStation's like, oh, hold on a second. If you guys leave, then we need to go over there because we need competition. Because if they sit by themselves, then they could just raise the prices. They could do what they want, right? We, the people, right? We, the customers, dictate if a game's $70. We dictate if the console sells well. We dictate if the streaming service sells well because they have to give us value. And then we give them our money in place. And because they can get millions and millions and tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people to potentially get their stuff, then they can sell it for a smaller point and make billions of dollars. But now they're trying to get the price because less people are buying the stuff. So they have to raise that price because a lot of people are not buying the games. Hence, when you look at first-party titles across the board, besides Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox suffer with first-party title games. They don't sell like Fortnite, all right? Fortnite's free, but with the microtransactions, right? They don't sell like Minecraft or Grand Theft Auto or Battlefield 6 or Call of Duty, right? All these third-party titles, which now Call of Duty is a first-party title, okay? They sell because they were on all platforms, PC, console, all across the board. So now that these guys have this stuff and now they're in their internal stuff, they're like, well, maybe we should. Maybe we should put our stuff everywhere. Because if we put our stuff everywhere, that's potentially more money. Does it dilute the console? I guess if you're a console player, I don't understand this mentality. If I already own a PlayStation 4 or 5 or an Xbox One or Xbox Series S or X, I'm already a customer. I've already played it. I've already enjoyed it. Okay? So I've got my money's worth for the stuff that I've purchased. If somebody else is like, well, I can't really afford a $700 box. I can't afford a $1,200 PC, but they have a $1,000 phone on them because they didn't pay $1,000 as part of a free plan. They're paying it off monthly payment for the next 3 years. They can play it on their phone. They can play it on the TV. They can play it wherever they feel like. And that is where they're going. This is what I've been saying for the entire time. This is what I'll keep saying. And now other people are finally getting on board with this. Okay? If it's cloud, if it's on PC, it's everywhere. PlayStation will do day and date. They will hold off as long as they possibly can. But at the end, the market bears what the market bears. And the market says, well, if these guys are doing it and they're selling well, it's not a good sign for PlayStation when 6 games in the top 20, okay, are Xbox games on their own system. So like, well, we're selling really good on PC stuff. Maybe we should do cross-buy option because those people are not coming over to buy a PlayStation because they already have a $1,200 PC. They already have a $1,800 PC. They're not going to spend $700 to just buy God of War. But they will buy God of War if it comes over to their platform. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Do you think this is the end? Do you think this is the end, chat? PlayStation's going to die? No, it's not going to die. Right? They're adapting over time, And again, it's good for gamers because now you can play more games in more places without breaking the bank. Again, my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. Let's see here. So what does this prove? A potential PlayStation launcher on PC? I mean, potentially, I don't know. Do you think they would try to make their own launcher on PC, like an app that you can buy stuff? Or do you think they team up with Steam in some way, shape, or form, and they have a deal with Steam that when you buy it on Steam, it also comes over on PlayStation? I don't know. Do you think Sony would invest to make their own launcher? Or do you think they would do what Xbox did with Asus? Why make your own handheld device when you can partner up with somebody? Why make, like, give Steam the money, give them 30%, whatever percentage they take, and then you're getting more money over on your side. I think that's the play. I don't think they make their own service because I don't think there's enough games to put on that service unless they start putting their like back catalog and stuff on there as well. Water says, it would be amazing. Imagine playing Ghost of Yote on PC. It's a beautiful PlayStation 5, but PC, perfection. Argus says, it will be on PC soon enough. Don't worry. Let's see. Argus says, oh no, it's Alex seems to think there will also be a PlayStation 5 PC launcher and a day and date launches. It's basically the same thing as Xbox Play Anywhere, where you can also buy PlayStation games on console and also have it on PC. See, I mean, I can agree with Robert Jones just said, like, do they bring their own launcher? Epic is not the greatest launcher. The only time people use the Epic launcher is because they give free games out, right? Remember when Borderlands, was it 3? When Borderlands 3 came out, and they had like a 6 months? I think it was just like a 6-month extent. Like, Borderlands 3 didn't sell until it came over on Steam. Like, nobody wanted to play it on Epic. They didn't. And that was just taking your cursor going from Epic launcher to Steam launcher, and no one wanted to do it, right? I think instead of putting the money in to make their own launcher, there's a lot of infrastructure there, man. It's not just slap on PlayStation and say, oh, we have our own store there, right? There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, which Epic suffered with. You couldn't even put stuff in your cart when Epic first launched. So I don't know if PlayStation does that. Maybe in the long term they do. I think the play right now is team up with Steam. They already have the largest gaming market known to man, okay? And they don't have what Microsoft has with the Microsoft stores built into your most computers because of Windows. PlayStation doesn't have that. So I think they make the play of teaming up with Steam, giving them the percentage, and they make that day and date happen where you can buy it here and buy it there, and it comes, you know, where you can play on both places. That's what I think. But who knows? Maybe they have their own launcher. Eclipse says it's over like 10 launches on PC. One of them has over 44 million concurrent users, and they're also Dululand, if you think of PC as crap. Oh, you're talking to Travis. Quintar says they will team up with Steam. I think so too, Quintar. I just don't see them. Again, Microsoft teaming up with Asus. Instead of making their own handheld device, they teamed up first. You know what I mean? They teamed up first to see how the sales go or how it works as a test. Right now, PlayStation's already done the test. A couple years afterwards, they put their games on PC. They've been selling well, and they're like, oh, maybe we should do day and date because we're missing out on all these people. Because these people that purchased on Steam our games didn't buy a PlayStation and come over. And if some people bought it twice, where they did buy it on PlayStation and then bought it again on PC, I think that's a finite amount of people. So instead of waiting 2 years to get paid, they want to put a day and date and get paid that day. That way they can boost the numbers up and say, hey, yeah, we sold 10 million units. Instead of saying we sold 5 million units and then wait 2 years and say, oh, yeah, we sold an additional 8 million units over on PC. Robert Jones says, I see them doing their own launcher before letting you own on Steam and console. If you see cross-ownership on console and their launcher. I don't know, man. I just think it's very expensive to make your own launcher. But like I said, I'm not saying it's not happening. I just think that it's not happening now. I think they would do a test to see what the sales are first, and they can always go down that road later. Travis says, so what you're saying, 30, is, if I understand correctly, that PC gamers are lazy and checks out. That doesn't make any sense, Travis. House says, Steam is life. Let's see. They've been working on a store in the background for a while. This is why the update came out, in the cross-buy is coming up. So you think they're going to make their own store? If that's the case, sure. Let's see. Just heads up. They're all PCs. Quinstar says they'll probably end up doing the same as Microsoft, have their own store and use Steam as well. I agree. But like I said, I think what they do first is team up with Steam, day and date, and then down the road they can be like, hey, we got our own Sony launcher. And then obviously if they have their own launcher there, they can take that launcher and put it on their Sony television brand TVs. Then they can team up with Roku and put their launcher on Rokus, right? Again, cloud gaming is the future, and they're all going to move towards that model down the road. Maybe PlayStation doesn't do it for another 5 years for what I'm talking about, the Roku and teaming up on the television sets and stuff like that. But they're all going to get there. They're all going to get there because they're leaving money on the table. Sarge says, but PC is not a platform, right, bro? Robert Jones says, I predict they make their own launcher and go day and date with a Steam port later on. Then the fair future date, fair future, what is that? Fair future date and date with Steam. Or farther in the future, day and date with Steam. It's not a bad, I mean, if Mo is saying that they've already been working on it in the background, I'm still going to stick with, I think they team up with Steam first and then announce it later. But I can see it happening both ways. I can see it happening where they make their own store and then do the opposite. So it's day and date on their launcher, and then 14 months they go on Steam. I still think you're leaving money on the table. Because, again, Epic was there. Steam was here. And people didn't want to click on Epic. Because Steam. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't want to do it because they're like, I don't really want to do it. What Xbox is doing is, I buy it on the Xbox and I can play it anywhere. Anywhere. Like I can play Arc Raiders right now on my PC. Not through Steam, but I can play it on my PC. I can play it on, and it's cross progression, right? But Microsoft has a operating system on all computers. Sony doesn't. So I think that's going to be a bigger chunk of stuff for them to do in the back end. So I just don't see it happening that way. I'm going to stick with my Steam first. But I would love to be proven wrong. The market will support their own store. How do you figure? How do you figure? So you're saying there's more PlayStation fanboys that are PC like people? And you think they're just going to go over to PlayStation's launcher? I don't know, man. That's a hard sell. Epic is still struggling. They still lose money on their launcher. Mo says, Mike, they always follow Microsoft. They just take time to do it. How long has Xbox had a store? About that time for PlayStation Store to come out. Yeah, again, one store is baked into the operating system, and one has to be made from scratch and then put everywhere. That's a much bigger ask. Ashraf says, if all this happens, it will show that Xbox has a whole generation ahead compared to PlayStation. True. You're never going to compete with Steam. They got that shit on lockdown. Yeah. And imagine, Steam has only been around since 2012, right? They took the initiative and said, oh, we should do this now. And where they've come in, 15 years? It's crazy. If Robert Jones says, if people buy PlayStation just to play Sony exclusives, it would easier just use a Sony launcher. The people on Steam are not going to go over to the launcher. They will still wait. You understand that, right, Jones? Again, when I make the joke, but on your window on the PC, Borderlands 3 was behind Epic, and all they had to do was go click, click on Epic Launcher and play Borderlands 3. But the Steam guys went, no, I'll wait the 6 months. I'll wait the year. I'll wait the 2 years. They don't need another launcher on their computer, right? They don't need another launcher on their computer. You're giving way too much credit to the people on PC. PC are like, nah, I'll just wait. They don't want to do it. This is just taking the mouse and doing this, right? This movement right here is too much for them. And I'm not making fun of them, but that's what you're competing against. You're competing for someone to move the mouse this much just to open up another browser. Eclipse says, I disagree with you on that one, 30. The reason why we don't do it is because it's exclusive. So you're saying, as long as it's day and date in a different browser, you'll go over to that. Even though right now there's games that come out for Epic and Steam and console, and who's choosing Epic over Steam? I mean, I see what you're saying, Eclipse. But more people will wait for it to come on Steam, not because it's exclusive, is because they want it to come on Steam. They don't want it on their PC just to have it on their PC. They want it on their Steam account because of convenience. They want all their library in one spot. You understand that the PC users who buy PlayStation just for exclusives, right? Yeah, and you understand that people that buy also PlayStation also buy for Call of Duty and Madden Football, right? If Epic Games proves me unique value proposition, I would happily buy games on their store like I do on GOG. I buy old games, and they aren't available on Steam. Also, the DRM free stuff makes it tempting to buy games on GOG. What is GOG? What is GOG's user base? Do we have that knowledge? Let me see. GOG does not release specific user numbers, but the user base is estimated to be significantly smaller than a major competitor like Steam. While GOG has a large social media following, around 500,000, and 8 million newsletter subscribers, the website traffic estimates around 400,000 daily visits. Okay, 400,000 daily visits. Okay, so how many... Steam had a record over 40 million concurrent users in early 2025 and over 185 million monthly active users in September of 2024. The platform is the largest digital game distribution with a market share of around 74 to 75% in 2025. Yeah. No, I'm going to go with Sony putting it on Steam day and date. Because even if they put their own thing, their user base isn't touching. Steam is literally 74 to 75% of the entire market. Yeah, good luck to you making your own browser, your own store on PC. I mean, even if you get it, cool. You're going to get a couple of million people. That's entirely a new level of lazy, bro. That's epic lazy. No, people want their stuff where they want it. If you want to play on Epic, play on Epic. If you want to play on Steam and you put it on Epic instead of Steam, they will wait for it to come on Steam. It's just what it is. Steam has been technically around for 20 plus years. Half-Life was the starting point. Yeah, but Valve has been around. Right? Valve is what made Half-Life, not Steam. None of these launchers will supplant Steam, but they can still exist. Sure, they can still exist, but you're also still cutting off the player base. People didn't want to sign up for Sony PlayStation because of Helldivers. Taylor Parker says, hi, bro. Can the next PlayStation 6 also could also be hybrid console PC, but partner with Steam to use Steam OS? Potentially. I mean, they could do that. I don't see why not. I mean, again, their consoles, Steam doesn't care, right? Steam is like, sure, go ahead, right? Valve is Steam. I got 20 years service badge on Steam. Yeah, I understand that, Quintar, but Valve is was the maker. Steam is a completely different platform. Steam didn't exist until they opened up Steam, which is in 2012. You couldn't purchase anything off of the browser or anything off Steam. Steam didn't exist. So Steam's not been around for 20 years. Valve has been around for 20 years. And since Valve owns Steam, right? So going back to the console talk, if they put Steam on their console, Steam's okay with that. They're like, yeah, I'll take a percentage of everybody else that we haven't got yet, because the people that didn't want to come over and buy a PC. 100%. I don't see a problem if Steam wants to go on the next consoles. Jesse Mack says, by the way, 30, Dispatch, it's just as hilarious and fun game. I want to pick it up, but I kind of want to play because I know I'll play it in one sitting. Jesse, I know it's a episodic, once a week. Every Wednesday they come out with a new episode. So I think yesterday they came out with episode 3 or 4 of is it 6 or 7 episodes? So I'm waiting for the whole thing to come out, and then I'll probably pick it up. Mo says, yeah, but Microsoft is buying Steam. But Microsoft is buying Steam, so I don't think they're going to do that. You think Microsoft's going to buy Steam? It's going to be a big sale. And I don't know, because Gabe doesn't like Microsoft. Do you know what I mean? But I guess if he doesn't like him, he could sell it for a pretty penny and then make money off of him. I mean, he hated Microsoft. That's why he left to go make Steam. From Gabe is about to retire and sell Microsoft? No, I don't think he's going to retire. Nate says, I just hit level 22 in Arc Raiders, 391 deck tokens. Save, and I'll wait till I'm also unlock everything to find the rocket launcher weapon. Use the matches, and I lost it, and I found 2, those keys as well. Nate's addicted. I feel you. We're going to be playing Arc Raiders in about an hour and a half. About an hour and a half, we'll be playing Arc Raiders with Mr. Luke again over on our other channel, 30 and Still Gaming. I haven't seen on my end, you guys are saying something's happening with YouTube. I haven't seen anything on my side as of right now. There's been no dip, no nothing, no interruptions. It says perfect for me. So if it comes through, I'll let you guys know. Otherwise, it might be your own personal thing. Eclipse says Gabe would never sell to Microsoft. Yeah, he doesn't like Microsoft, but maybe that's why he would sell. He's like, yeah, I'll sell it, but you got to give me like 200 billion. And they're like, can you take 150 billion? Steam is worth. They're so efficient. They are so efficient. Altern says, so if every console is going to have Steam, does that mean that Steam has a gaming monopoly? No, because you can get it everywhere. You can choose. If you could only get it, that would be a monopoly, right? This is why there's other platforms, right? But if you can get Steam on all the platforms, you can still get it at Xbox. You can still buy Xbox. You can still buy PlayStation. I mean, Steam is going to make another console, supposedly. It didn't do well the first time. I don't know why they would do it a second time, but potentially they want to get in the households anyway. Now, if they come out with the console and the console dominates and they have the market, well, then yes, that would be a monopoly. Let's see. Gabe didn't like Microsoft. They have much better relationships, thanks to the know of who, Phil Spencer. They have a good relationship. You could separate business, right, and your friends from it, but the business is, he still has that chip on his shoulder, right? Tom Brady still has a chip on his shoulder, even though he won 7 Super Bowls. He didn't get drafted by anybody. You know what I mean? Like, he was the last in the draft pick, and they said he would never make it as a quarterback. He still has that chip on his shoulder. I'm pretty sure Gabe has that chip on his shoulder where he's like, yeah, I'm not selling to Microsoft. I think Gabe, I'm not saying he would never sell, but I think Gabe would rather like blow it up instead of selling it to Microsoft. Personally. FTC can't stop nothing. I love it. I just played Batman Telltales. I love the way they did it as well. It's the same business model of Telltale Games. Valve made Steam on September 12th, 2003. Steam is Valve, a Valve product. Yes, you're right. You understand, like Valve, right? The Valve, and then the steam that comes out of the valve, right? That's why they call it Steam. It's the valve and the steam that comes out of the valve. The actual storefront, though, was many years later. Does not help that Valve and Microsoft are neighbors. Yeah, they're real close to each other. I think they're literally like a street block down the road from each other. Altern says, is Phil Spencer retired after this gen? So if Steam doesn't sell now, it won't ever. I think when Phil Spencer does retire from Microsoft, what about if he goes to Nintendo? He always wanted to buy it. He said it. He said, I want to buy Nintendo. It's what he wanted to do. Maybe he goes and works for Nintendo. Why would they call the company Valve? They called it Valve. I'm not really sure why they called it Valve, but it's like the pipeline of games, right? And then you open up the valve and the steam comes out. That's basically what the premise, I guess you want to call it. Eclipse says, I mean, if there's a documentary about it, if that's what you want to watch it, there you go. Robert Jones says, the good thing about Steam and Nintendo, they aren't public, so Microsoft can't force a trade. Right. What's happening now, Jones, with a lot of the companies, private investors buying these corporations up, you're going to see a lot more of them. You're going to see a lot more of what happened with EA and what Embracer Group and stuff like that. Like all of these companies that are independent, private companies buying up these companies and then putting them together. Andrew Wilkins says, Microsoft shouldn't be allowed to buy anything else. They can't do nothing right in gaming. xCloud isn't even half as good as PlayStation streaming. I mean, that might be the case, but they're allowed to buy stuff as long as... I mean, here's the thing, Andrew. If Microsoft was in a different scenario, right? In a different scenario, if Microsoft was leading the way, if they were having the numbers that PlayStation had and PlayStation was where Microsoft was, the sale would have never gone through, because then they would have a huge amount of distance between if they had PlayStation's numbers compared to what they were, like if they just reversed roles, they would never get that sale, because then they would exponentially be much higher than these guys. But the way it worked was, because PlayStation was the leader, and the number, you weren't here yesterday maybe, okay, Sony in the last 25 years, from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 5, has a combined total of 445.53 million units sold of consoles. Okay, Nintendo's at 290 and Xbox is at 194. There's almost a 3 or 2.5 like gap between them. Okay, so if PlayStation reversed roles and Xbox was there, Activision would have never bought by them, because they wouldn't have gone through, because they would have completely dominated. But because they're third place and because they're so far behind, okay, that's exactly why it went through. And a lot of people don't believe this, okay, but that is the reason that it went through, because Xbox wasn't a threat, because they are third place. And now that they're the largest publisher, if they try to buy another huge thing, they might get some pushback, in my opinion. But they could go buy other companies. They could still go buy smaller companies. They don't have to buy the $55 billion EA. They don't have to buy 2K, but they could buy other smaller companies that come in and make good games. Sarge says you also need to see that game Microsoft is playing. They want already set up companies to make the money. They don't have the talent to make the games, so they just need to buy it. Of course. When you start a business, if I start a business up and let's say I'm starting a restaurant. I don't know how to cook. I'm a businessman, right? I find the best goddamn cook and I hire him to put him in my kitchen. And then he is the marketing guy. Like this chef is here because he's a goddamn good chef. I'm a business guy. I also need good staff. So I hire the best staff, right? I can't do it myself. That's exactly what Microsoft is doing. They're like, why go make the stuff when we can just go get the stuff that's already made? Why make a handheld when the handheld's already made? We can just team up with somebody. Why go make a VR headset when the VR set's already made? So they go team up with Facebook, or I'm sorry, Meta. Travis says, 30, real talk. Did you see the article from Obsidian yesterday? Is that the one you sent me yesterday? Let me see. You sent me yesterday. No, you sent me the Alien one. I didn't see the article. No, I didn't see the article. Send me another article. Obsidian knows that everyone on the internet keeps asking for Fallout New Vegas. That isn't 76 at this point. Yeah, but 76 is still making a shit ton of money. And that's why you're not getting a Fallout New Vegas. Elder Scrolls Online is still making a shit ton of money. Hence why you're not getting an Elder Scrolls 6. It's plain and simple. If you don't want why Grand Theft Auto 6 is taking so long is because Grand Theft Auto 5 is still in the top 5 of sales and play time. Okay. If you don't want microtransactions in your game, stop buying microtransactions. If you don't want $80 video games, guess what? Stop buying $80 video games. If you want the next Elder Scrolls 6, stop playing the other Elder Scrolls. It's real simple. Real simple. Nate says, Combat MK2 Augment restores health 1 every 5 seconds, and the damage is also taking effect and pause for 30 seconds. I need one more Hornet driver to get this. Make sure you get those caches, the downed couriers. The couriers. You can find stuff in there. The reason why Microsoft bought Bethesda, right? Remember, they weren't going to buy Bethesda, Quintar, right? They were going to buy Bungie first. And Bungie wanted $7 billion. And they said, you're too expensive. So they went to go buy $7 billion for Bethesda because they had way more IPs than what Destiny or Bungie had. And because they didn't buy Bungie at that time, they said, you're way too much. Hence why Sony came in and bought them for 3.6 billion? Water says, I need more $500 skins. Was that League of Legends, right? League of Legends was $500. Waterbear says, the Hornet drivers pissed me off last night. I got 6, need 2 more to upgrade my gunsmith table. Best thing to do is looking for upgrade mats is utilize the quick loadouts. That way you don't lose valuable shit. Yeah, don't even put. I don't even put a free loadout in. What I do is because if you take a free loadout, you have no prison pocket. Okay, in Arc Raiders. So take the augment out of your free loadout. Just take a shitty weapon. All right, just take a shitty weapon, a couple of lower end, bandages and whatnot, and go in and you have 1 prison pocket. With no augment, you have 1 prison pocket. You have less storage, but you have 1 prison pocket. So if you have the prison pocket, okay, you can then go in and carry your stuff out. So if you die, you still get the thing that you want out. That's what I do. Was just saying that Obsidian basically has saying that they want to focus on their IP, not making Fallout or Elder Scrolls. They also want to make their own ideas. Well, that's not for them to say, Travis, since they got bought out and sold them their company to it. So when Microsoft says, "Hey, you're going to make this," that's what's going to happen. Usually they don't do that. That's why they stopped and said, "Hey, what do you want to make?" And then they, at least they said that 2 years ago. What are you interested in making? Microsoft also already owned Bungie in the past, and Bungie bought themselves when sold out. Well, right, they bought themselves, but they also had to give up Halo. right? They also had to give up Halo. And then Bungie, when they went to Activision, almost lost Destiny. And they had to buy back Destiny from Activision. How ironic would that be if they lost Halo to Microsoft and then they lost Destiny to Activision and then Activision got bought by Microsoft and they lost it again? No, you have an ass pocket, you meant. Yeah. Prison Pocket's wild. I mean, it is what it is. According to Microsoft, is open to letting them make their own IP. Yeah, that's what they said, right? I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. There's other ways to help us out here. You can look down below in the a shirt, a mug, a hat, a sticker, or you can also go check out our music that we do. We play it before the show starts. You can go to Spotify. You can stream it. You can go to iTunes or Apple Music, and you can purchase it or download it. Many different ways you can help us out here. Let's see here. I mean, they will probably lose Destiny to Sony. No, not probably. They will. They are. They're in the process right now, House, of losing Destiny to Sony. Altered says until they don't, and they're forced to make a new COD. When it comes to New Vegas 2 stuff, honestly, I'm glad because I doubt it would also live up to their legacy. I think a lot of people forget how fucking broke and buggy and unfinished New Vegas was when it came out. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved New Vegas, but holy shit, it was probably one of the most glitchiest games that they've ever created. Bungie has already been taken over by Sony. Marathon is the PlayStation studio, aka Sony Entertainment game now. I am the captain now. They completely lost their shit. Potentially for the third time. Their whole goal for leaving Microsoft originally was to publish their own games. And then while they were in the process of trying to publish their own games, they couldn't do it, so they had to get Activision to save them so they could publish their own games. And then they couldn't do that. Had to buy back Destiny from Activision. Then they're like, we're going to go on our own so we can publish our own games. And then they were out there for, I think, 2 years, 3 years. And then they're like, Sony bought them. Actually, Microsoft was going to buy them again, but they overpriced it. And then Sony bought them. And then here we are in current day where Bungie, and a lot of you guys haven't been here, but in 2016, I said Bungie's done. I said, I don't like Bungie. Bungie doesn't know how to handle money. And they're a bunch of, they just throw money away. Here we are. No longer. New Vegas was extremely buggy. 100%. Crowd says, I kind of like to see someone who actually wants to make Destiny. I mean, I haven't played it myself. Destiny Rise, the mobile game. People keep telling me that Destiny Rise is better Destiny than Destiny. Is that true? I don't know. I don't play that. I'm not going to play that. Eclipse says, yeah, I didn't buy until everything came out. And it was also all in one packet because I watched people play it. It was also buggy as hell when it first came out. People forget that, though. They're like, Vegas is the best Fallout game ever. Sure. You can have fun, but it was same with The Witcher. Everyone thinks that Cyberpunk 2077 was like an outlier. No. The Witcher came out from CD Projekt Red. It was literally called the Glitcher because it was so broke and buggy, but everyone loves it because it was so awesome and immersive and people love that game. So they close their eyes and say The Witcher is the best game ever created at the point, but it was so buggy, it was literally called the Glitcher, right? New Vegas was so glitchy, so buggy, okay? And yet people forget about it. And they're like, it's the greatest Fallout game ever. And yet Starfield comes out. It's probably one of the smoothest launches they've ever had. Still buggy, okay? Shitty storyline from the main story. Great side quest. And everyone's like, oh, this game is shit. It's like, you do understand that every Fallout game and that came out before was super buggy. Super buggy. Travis just showed me a video yesterday, right? I watched Luke Stevens had a video about the Fallout remaster or upgraded version that came out last year, okay? There was bugs in that game for 10 years. 10 years. And people are like, it's the greatest Fallout game ever, right? There's still bugs that happen in the game 10 years later. Do you know why they don't fix it? Because they don't have to. Because it was broke, buggy, and unfinished day one. It sold 10 million, 15 million units, and they went, now we're good. They've already bought it. We don't need to fix it. Thanks for the money. Again, no pre-order, no day one, no full price for half-ass games. That's our motto here. Speaking of New Vegas, I can't wait to see the new Fallout series start. It's going to be a New Vegas story arc from what we all know. We are probably going to start up Fallout 76 again when it comes out, December 3rd, 12th, whatever it starts. It starts the same day the actual show starts. And I do love that they're making the series a weekly episodic thing, okay? Because then normal people that have jobs, okay, that we can't actually sit down and sit there for 12 hours to watch the entire show in one afternoon, can watch one episode and then process that episode and then talk to people and then actually have fandom, right? Where you actually talk to people, what's going to happen? What's going to this? I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic about it. I would love to see Bungie return to Microsoft to make a CD happy Halo. So people would stop shitting on 343. Well, 343 is, they deserve everything they have. Let's see here. We're talking about 30. Fallout 4 is shit. Now, excuse me to put another 500 hours into it. Yeah, that's what it is. You can't binge watch it. Get good, noob. When does Fallout start up again? On Netflix? No, at Amazon Prime. And I believe it's the 3rd. I think it's the 3rd or the 12th. I'm getting confused. I think it's let me see. I think it's the 3rd. December 3rd's a Wednesday. Yeah, I think it's the 3rd. Or it's the 12th, which is a Friday. I'm not really too sure. I think it might be on Friday. Let me look it up. Fallout TV series. It starts on December 17th. I'm wrong. Completely wrong. Season 2 premieres on December 17th. So there you go. That's a Monday. So, no, I'm sorry. That's a Wednesday. That's a Wednesday. Sarge says 343 had plenty of time not to be shitty. They took too long. They should also have not said no thank you to Halo. If you're going to also follow quality, then don't make the product. I don't think they had a choice at the point. They were like handed, like 343 was created and handed. Here you go. You're making Halo, right? The people that made Halo left, and here you go. You're making Halo. Oh, you know, Mo, you can say all the shit you want in chat, and I ignore it all. But when you say 343 has the best Halo, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. You are that is the most unrealistic thing you've said, and you say a lot of stuff, and I just let it go. But to say 343 has the best Halo, get the fuck out of here. That's where I draw the line, Mo. That's where I draw the line. Their best game is the worst for Halo. Robert Jones says that Destiny Rising is a good... I hear that Destiny Rising is a good game, but also it's a mobile gacha game. Yeah, I mean, I hear it's good, but again, I'm not going to play it. 343 Halo is ass. Yeah, those are facts, Jason. We let Mo get away with a lot of stuff in this chat, but that's where I draw the line. All right? What's happening on Twitter? We got about 10, 15 minutes left in the show. Let me see what's happening on Twitter. Did they show any information about Marvel Rivals? Did they show any gameplay? Any gameplay of the of Gambit or Rogue yet? Because I know they're getting close. Maybe they do it later this afternoon. Maybe they do it next week. GTA Online is now included with GTA Plus membership. Uh-oh. What does this mean? I'm going to have to put that in the stories for tonight. If you guys don't know, you're new to the channel, we have a podcast that we do. Thursday nights, you can join me and Sarge McCluskey, which is my brother, as we go over the news and we rant along the way. We've been doing it for many, many years. It's a nice time to hang out with my brother and talk about our passion. What we love is video games. So if you guys never seen it before, you can go watch the past broadcast on Spotify. You can also watch the past broadcast on YouTube as well. It's called Generation X Gaming, a weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. It's a good time. Come on out. Hang out with us. TV show is fire, and Halo is great under 343. I'm going to stop reading your comments today, Mo. I just can't. Yeah. Sad thing is 343 has more original Bungie devs than Bungie. Yet now, yeah. That is sad, Quintar, to think about. I mean, we all say the same thing, like, as far as, like, I'm a big fan of the Battlefield guys, right? The Battlefield DICE. And DICE is not even close to what they were before. I mean, you can see where the talent went for DICE when it went to Embark, right? And when you see Arc Raiders, the way it's created and the detail and the stuff that happens, and you look at Battlefield 6, and I know everyone thinks that Battlefield 6 is back, but it really isn't. You know what I mean? People want to believe it is. It might be 6 months from now, 10 months from now, 14 months from now, but it's not back yet. Travis says, the sad thing is people think a crappy Doom could ever stand up to the real franchise like 40K. Oh, last night we played Alien Elite Fire Team. It's actually pretty good. I like the gameplay. Me, Jay Breezy, and Sarge played it. I like the gameplay. I like all the little upgrades and purchasing things and leveling up the gear. But my God, if they come out with the sequel, like you said, Travis, that you sent me the article, they've got to fix. It feels when you have the gun in that game. Jay Breezy said it last night, and it nailed it. It feels like you're Batman with the suit on, with the cowl. You know, you can't move your neck. It's like, right? It's like so freaking stiff when you move. I even raised up the way you move. Okay, and it just feels stiff. It's like if someone's to your left, you're like, it's like you can't turn your body. It's like it's so weird, right? When we first started playing, I was like, I don't know about this movement, man. But I know that I'm being not hyperbolic, but I'm spoiled, right? Because playing Helldivers for the last 3 months and the way the characters move in third person, and then you play Arc Raiders and the way they move in third person and the animations when they reload or when they do something, it just feels good. If you told me this game was made in 2016, I would believe you, but it wasn't. It was made in 2021 or 2020, 2021. And it's just so stiff. Like, to believe that this game came out after like a Star Wars Battlefront or anything like that is like it's like at least hit that point of like the movements and stuff. So I like the game. Don't love the game. I like what we've been playing so far. We'll probably continue next week on Wednesday and continue playing it. But just the motion just felt really off. Yeah, we had a squad last night, Sin. Yeah, we had 3 people. What was the game called? 30, N64, but Plastic Army Men? I forget what the name of it was. Sarge says you have a fucking standard, bro. Fucking game is baseline. Yeah, the movement's baseline. The mechanical stuff of the game is good. It's not a shit game. I wouldn't buy it. Like if I had to buy that game because it's on Game Pass, if I had to buy Alien Elite Fire Team, I would say it's like a $30 game. 40 the max. 40 the max. $30 I would say is okay to buy that. Obviously, you're not going to pay that now. You would play that. I'm talking about like when it launched. $30, $40 price tag for that game. I mean, didn't Water say Army Men? Army Men 3D? Yeah, Army Men. Sarge Heroes. Be real with you, yourself, bro. It's designed as a shooting gallery with hallways in between. I thought the level design was okay. I mean, I'm trying to put it with games that came back in the same type of year. 2020, 2021. I thought the map design was fine. I think what they're doing in the game is fine. But I do believe, like Back for Blood came out during that same time period, right? When did Back for Blood come out? And we give shit to that all the time. Did it launch at 30? I don't know. Did it launch at 40? Then that would be a price I would pay for it, right? If it launched at that price, Jones, again, I didn't play it then, so I don't know what the price was. But that's what that game is. What was I going to look up? The hell was I just going to look up? 2022 maybe? Oh, Back for Blood. Yeah. So Back for Blood came out in 2021, October 12th of 2021. Okay. Alien Fire Team. Came out on August 24th, 2021. Now take those two games. Okay. Back for Blood and Alien Fire Team. They both came out a couple months from each other. Both co-op games. I give shit to Back for Blood because it's not Left 4 Dead, right? Left 4 Dead, phenomenal game. We played it 2 weeks ago or a week ago for Halloween, okay? Love that game. Back for Blood is a better game than Aliens. 100%. The way it moves, the way it feels, everything feels better, okay? The characters feel so clunky. Now, I understand the difference between them, but they both came out the exact same time, and you see what that is, right? Isn't one first person? Yeah, but what I'm saying, the way your character moves is completely, is completely different. It feels, not because it's first person, third person, it just feels fluent. Both came out the same year, 2021. So you're telling me if I zoomed in and I became first person in Alien, everything would be fine? No, it feels like the character model feels like the last thing they worked on before the game launched. They did the whole thing, but the character model was the last thing they worked on. It feels like movement from 2006, not 2021. Let's see. I mean, you won't see your character move like Batman, so maybe it's fixed. It's not the look, Altern. It's the feel. Aliens feels like your RoboCop, Water says. That's a detrimental to RoboCop. RoboCop feels better than Aliens. And that's first person. Gears of War was third person, and the game wasn't clunky like the Aliens and stopped defending the perfect example, Eclipse. Third person for Gears of War, and they don't feel that bad. Gears of War was clunky as hell. Gears of War 1, not even close to Aliens. And that came out, 2006 compared to 2021? Aliens feels so bad. The character movement feels so bad. The gunplay feels fine. The sound design's okay. Okay. It's a fun game, but that character model stuff just is rough. Altern says, Aliens feels like you're asking permission to one foot to move to the other. Yeah, it's just weird. If you've played it, I think you'll understand. If you haven't played it, you'll be like, oh, I don't understand what he's bitching about. Go play Aliens. It's on Game Pass. Go give it a shot. You'll see how your character moves. You'll be like, holy Christ. It feels like that, Jones. It's like tank control. Yeah, it just feels weird the way you move. It's like very sluggish. It's like my guy's in a bowl of Jello. It's really bad. It feels like it's the least amount of thing they worked on in the game. All right. That's going to do it for me today. That's it for the end of the show for the week. We use this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We will be back tonight to end off the week with Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories of the past week, and we rant along the way. We're also going to play Arc Raiders at 1 o'clock in about an hour from now over on our other channel, 30 and Still Gaming. So if you're watching over on Twitter, if you're watching over on Twitch, if you want to come over to YouTube, come over to 30 and Still Gaming. We're going to be playing some Arc Raiders with Mr. Luke. I appreciate it very much. I'll see you guys on the next one. Great. And have a great rest of your day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. I'll see you guys. Peace.
But every time I pull the trigger, it's like ghosts in the smoke. No suppression, no pressure, this ain't the old code. Grinding all night for that scope I need. But every upgrade feels like I'm planting seeds in concrete. Yeah, battlefield's back, but fix it, please. Hey, hey. Battlefield's right, hey, hey. But fix it, please. Hit detections while bring it to its knees. Maps look good, but don't play right. Every flank turns into a fire with light. Still we're storming through the fire and steel. Cause damn, it finally feels real. Battlefield's back, but fix it, please. Smooth launch, yeah, I can't believe my eyes. Call of Duty players jumping in, switching sides. Jet flybys, tanks on parade. But these spawn points got me feeling betrayed. I want that chaos, that old school thrill. Not running 10 miles just to die on a hill. So patch it up, guys, we know you can. Don't lose your soul to the same old plan. Yeah, battlefield's back, but fix it, please. Battlefield's back, but fix it, please. Hit detections while bring it to its knees. Maps look good, but don't play right. Every flank turns into a fire with light. Still we're storming through the fire and steel. Cause damn, it finally feels real. Battlefield's back, but fix it, please. Battlefield's back, but fix it, please. Now they're talking about a BR mode. Dropping in hot, another heavy load. We've seen it done, we've seen it fail. Don't chase the trend, stay on the rail. Keep it battlefield, large scale fights. Don't trade the war for battle lights. We want squads, not loot box dreams. Stay true to the chaos, not stream of memes. From 2D42 scars we rise. Learn the pain, now we're wise. Portals back, but man it's a chore. Gotta dig through the trash to find the goal we adore. So here's to the soul.